welcome to the Barely Making It podcast. We're your hosts, Bri and Lys.
Hello, everybody.
How are we doing today?
We're alive today. Blessings bestowed, honestly.
That's real, and I feel it, and I'm gonna go along with it. I love that for you.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm chilling. I just got off work, so I'm great. Glad to be here.
As far as your week goes, what are your peaks from this week?
Peaks. What is good that happened this week?
You woke up every day? What?
I did wake up every day, and I'm very grateful for that. But I'm trying to think of, other stuff. What was good this week? Well, I guess that was good. So, I don't have a pit. I don't have a peak. So, we're good. I'm good. Life is good. What are your peaks and pits?
I have to work every day of my life to sustain my lifestyle. My peak, that I'm privileged enough to have a job to afford my lifestyle almost. So
I would honestly, that is a good one, and I can also agree. I'm grateful to be able to live within my means.
Yeah, because it's hard. It really is. I'm thinking about getting 3 jobs, for real. Let's skip the 2 altogether.
It's not an option at this point. It's you have to have 2 jobs to really be able to do everything that you want to do. If you don't want to come home and go to sleep every night and then go back to work the next day.
Sometimes I think I don't do enough because I don't have 2 jobs, and I see people who work 1 job and they're in there forever, but it's you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to work 2 jobs. Unless you're somebody that just likes to be busy, it shouldn't have to be a requirement.
Yeah, I don't think, unless you really, really want to, or, you really, really, feel like you want to save more than what you're already saving. I feel with jobs, you should have the ability to save. You should have the ability to live within your means, and you should be able to have a little fun, but I feel it's impossible now, and I don't understand it.
You know what that just made me think about? Okay, so how, they take out taxes every check, or, depending on who you are, if you have insurance and they take that out every check, you need to take out money and save it for me. Not just 401k. You need to go ahead and just take money out and save it for me personally.
At this point.
The way they taking stuff out anyway.
Y'all take out everything else. Take me out a savings account, please. And dedicate those funds so that way, when I need something, I have it. Because the 401k, you get in trouble if you pull it out before, well, I guess not in trouble, but you get taxed if you do that before. And I'm just okay, but it's my money. Make it make sense.
It's my money and I need it now.
J.G. Wentworth, give me my money.
So for somebody that's with a finance background, so I think we've talked about this before. You don't feel like high yield savings accounts really do much? I don't think that high yield savings accounts do much, right now. I guess I would say in this economy, since I've been working in finance. I feel CDs and investments are where it's at right now, because you can get 2 or 3% on a high yield savings, but you can start with 4% with a lot of CDs and a lot of investments that you do. So I'm more pro those, and I'm really pro 401ks with an employer sponsored match. We love to hear it. We love an educated finance lady.
If you guys want to know more, I can do an episode on that as well.
But as far as the episode at hand today,
we are going to be talking about problematic celebrities. There are so many to choose from, but we have narrowed it down to 4 that we would like to speak about today. I'll let you start since you have the most in-depth problematic person.
Oh my gosh, why am I put on spot like this?
Because we have a whole script, and it has every single person this lady has ever had beef with. She's prepared.
So our topic at hand today is, are problematic people really problematic? That's not to say they can't be problematic, but, are they really the problem when you really get down to it, when you really get down to the meat and potatoes? As former problematic people, we know problematic when we see it. You know what I mean? It's
that former is questionable.
It depends on the day.
Yeah, we used to be those people on Twitter that would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start arguing with people. And then the people that we were arguing with would inevitably...
I would say the argument will be started, but we would just continue the argument. We could let it go, but...
Continue and finish.
I don't start things, I finish them. It's my only flaw.
Well, we definitely have started a couple of things, but majority continuing and finishing. And it was mainly people starting with us first, so it is what it is. We've divided it up into 2 sections. So we have influencers and actual celebrities. Because I don't think influencers are celebrities. Do you think influencers are celebrities? What's your take on that?
No, they're influencers. I mean, you can be an influencer and become a celebrity, but like there's a line of where you stand.
Yeah, I feel like they're typically like the D-listers, like the D-listers, C-listers, and then the celebrities are typically like the A-listers, B-listers. So that's what we divided it up into.
Like you have from A to Z for celebrities. Yeah. But it's like if you're an influencer and your influence is that strong, you could be a celebrity. Like, okay, there's a certain group of people who already know who Charlie D'Amico is. Is that her name? Emilio? That sounds mean. But there's a certain amount of people who will know an influencer.
Is she the girl who dances?
Yeah, the one who steals the black people dances.
Oh, Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae?
Wow. Addison Rae's like also in movies and stuff now, so.
She is. I still wouldn't consider her to be like a celebrity though. It's just Addison Rae.
It just depends on what you deem as a celebrity. Like, you can't only, not you, but you can't only deem a celebrity as somebody who you think is famous, because there's different levels to celebrity, which we're also probably going to dive into. But like you said, we divided it into 2 categories. So we have like actual celebrities like that are known for like either music or acting, whatever the case is, and then you have like influencers who are known to influence you to buy things, whether that be wigs, whether that be makeup, whether that be just to promote content that they create, story times, whatever the case is, which is usually what separates these people.
I agree. I need a bad bleep. Addison Rae. So starting with the influencers. So for our first influencer, we're going to talk about, should we talk about Ekane first or Tana?
Well, Tana's probably I haven't checked on Tana in a long time. I used to really love her, as you know, because we've been friends for so long. That was my girl. And then, like, I just realized that she was definitely a dirty white woman. But she can't help that. She can't help who she is. So
she's also had like a tough childhood, which doesn't negate anything that she's done, but she's like reformed trailer trash, you know?
Okay. For the most, if you ever think about Tana, and if you were ever a fan or even just knew who she was at one point in time, then you know what TanaCon is. Tana started getting invited to VidCon, so she made her own TanaCon. She had all these people paying hundreds of dollars to stand out in the heat, basically have heat stroke, pass out, die. It was like her birthday weekend, I believe this was. And to quote someone who is also an influencer content creator, people are outside literally melting and you're partying around in your Gucci boots in a hotel room. So,
like, make it make sense. All of these people came to see you.
She was in a hotel room with Gucci boots. Like,
probably high as a kite, just playing. Because Tana used to do drugs.
And I will send you this picture, as I told you before, but like, TanaCon was like, it seemed like it's still unreal. You got this man who's the manager of everything riding around on this Segway in this convention. I think they gave them like goodie bags. It was a mess. Yeah. And she wasn't even there. Like, that's the thing. She wasn't even there. Like, I think she drove past a couple times. I was just like, hey. And that was like the reality of that. Like, she genuinely didn't care. Now, granted, we could say like she was young or whatever the case is, but you're not stupid. Like you could be young, but you have sense. You've been in the celebrity space, or at least influencer space enough. YouTubers, back then, YouTubers could be considered a celebrity, honestly. So it's just like, you knew enough to know that this wasn't okay to have these people in this heat. You're from Las Vegas, Nevada, Reno, Nevada, wherever she's from Nevada. You knew enough to know these people outside cooking. This is not that fake heat, man. No water, nothing was given to these people. They're literally outside melting.
And it's sad that even the celebrities that she booked for it had to come out and, like, speak out about it and be like, I had nothing to do with this. Like, I did not know that this was going to happen. And you have the face of it just, like, staying quiet for weeks on end. And then she comes out and she makes a video about it. And then she's like, I'm refunding all the tickets back and yada. She didn't recover from that for, like, 2 years.
Unless it's like the diehard fans. But I mean, you're always going to have that regardless of the celebrity.
Yeah, that's for anybody. You'll always have like that almost...
the core.
I was going to say cult, but that's probably not the best word. Like, you always have like that kind of what small loyal... Yeah. Like that small loyal fan base that, like, whatever you do, they're going to follow it and they're going to find a way to defend it. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of her bigger controversies. She's also had things where she used to say the N-word, and like one of her best friends, if he's not, because I don't remember what he is. I don't know if he's half black or fully black, but he's definitely, yeah.
Think he's mixed?
I think he's half. Okay. But I guess he would let her say it. So there was videos of her coming up where she would call him the hard ER and all these things, and she was just saying, like, you know, back then she was ignorant, which will be a thing, because I truly believe, as somebody who is black, like, I have 2 black parents, I believe most people who are minorities have said it. Like, this could just have normally said it at one point in their lives because they either thought they could, or the people around them, maybe a combination of both. Yeah, I'm sure she did think it was okay. But it's just the way you go about it. Like, I don't know if you remember, like, when iDubbbz came up to her at whatever convention it was and was like, oh, say, and hard ER or whatever, and she was freaking out, and it was making it seem like she's a victim in this situation, but you're really not the victim.
You've said it before.
You might not like the word, but I think it really, yeah.
And I think it doesn't make it acceptable, but I think during the time that she came out too, it was just like so many people who were so comfortable saying it, and it was like a joke almost to say it. So I feel like it was a little normalized back then, and then I feel like people really finally came to their senses and were like, oh, like, there's just certain words that you can't say, like the R word. So it's just like, you know, while I don't agree, I feel
like it's okay to admit things are offensive.
Yeah, like, I'm glad as a society we can come to, like, a solid conclusion of, like, hey, like, there are certain things that, like, some people just shouldn't say. Like, this just isn't socially appropriate.
Now that we're sitting here talking about it, she really is involved in so much, because I remember she had controversy as well because she got into it with Simply Nessa, and Nessa came out with this detailed video as to why Tana was treating her like this because she was a black woman. Absolutely not. Tana was treating that, maybe because she's an asshole for sure, but it had nothing to do with her looking at. I don't think Tana ever looked at you and was like, that's a black girl. She might have looked at you and said that's a Hispanic, but she never looked at you like that's a black woman and I'm going to treat her this way because she's black.
So for those of you who don't know, there's another YouTuber. Her name is Simply Nessa 15 or Nessa Gabriella, however you know her. She used to be friends with Tana Mongeau, and when they got into it,
15, man.
You do. But when she and Tana got into it, she, as far as we know, had never really claimed, like, any ethnicity other than being Mexican before. And then when she started talking about Tana, she was like, as a black woman, mind you, nobody knew she was black. Like, at all. So it was just weird, like, just one of those times where, like, you took something that was probably not about you being black. It could have been about you being Hispanic, but it definitely wasn't about you being black, and you took it and you ran with it. And I feel like what she failed to understand is, like, yes, Tana was mean to her, Tana was bad to her, but Tana was bad to everybody. Everybody had a story about Tana at the time. Tana used to be horrible.
Honestly, like, even with Simply Nessa, she's had her fair share of, like, controversies and being problematic and being messy and being mean. I will say, though, I don't think she was wrong. The only thing that she said that was kind of was about her being a black woman, because Nessa might have said she was part black or a part of black or anything like because she used to always have multiple different races, which is fine. If you are multiracial, that's fine. You can be that. But she did include in that clip, and again, somebody else who has been known to be problematic, she included in that video that she made about Tana that there was this video that Tana and Shane Dawson had made together. And Shane Dawson had called Nessa off of Tana's phone and was basically trying to, like, make amends or whatever, but it was, like, it was for content purposes. It wasn't a genuine purpose, and Nessa didn't even know that was going on. So, like, you're already called problematic. People always say that you're in drama. Somebody calls you who is also already in, these two people who are already enthralled in drama.
Always.
So it's just like, I can imagine, like, you gotta think about it from that type of view. Like, she wasn't wrong for that. Like, that's uncomfortable. Why would you, like, you're trying to be funny? And I'm gonna look wrong if I respond to you, because at the time, like, even if Tana and Shane had been in controversies before, they're like, YouTube has a select golden children type of, like, James Charles could get away with anything that other people would not be able to get away with.
Oh yeah, there was, like, a good four of them. It was Jeffrey, Shane, James. Tana could get away with some things, but not everything. And Colleen.
I think Jeffrey could get away with murder, honestly.
He still can. Like, he's moved over to TikTok and he is still so popular. Jeffree Star is who we're talking about. He's a makeup artist or makeup influencer. And he used to be really bad back in the day.
Dating are controversial because Colleen is like somebody who's been, we could say that for later, but she's been successfully canceled too because she really got up there with that ukulele trying to apologize. Like,
yeah, she did. Yeah, but up until then, like, there's a lot of other things that she's done that she really has never gotten canceled for. And it's crazy. Like, even in her show, what was it called? Like, Haters Back Off. It was so much stuff in there.
Haters Back
Off.
Like,
for example, people talk about The Office, and they're like, the things that aired on The Office, like, you're lucky it came out in the early 2000s, because if this aired now, it would have been canceled after the first season, which is totally correct.
Like South Park?
Oh, yeah. All of them. South Park. I'm surprised that Family Guy is still running. I'm so surprised. They're, like, so offensive, like, to no return. But, they always said, like, when The Office came on, like, it came out at the perfect time, because this would not be acceptable in this day and age. And I feel like when Haters Back Off came on, every time I watched it, I was just, like, so uncomfortable, because literally one of the themes in that show was, like, her uncle doing stuff to her. And I was just like, okay, like, it was always, like, the joke about the daddy saddle. It's just weird. Like, it's uncomfortably weird to the point where, like, you, like, nervous laugh like that. Because it was, like, her uncle, and she had this daddy saddle, and she would put the daddy saddle on, like, his back, and she would, like, ride it. Or he would be like, do you want me to go get the daddy saddle? Like, it was just, like, these weird undertones to that show. And it creeped me out so bad. And I don't think she understands, like, why it got canceled after 2 seasons. But I'm like, do you not see why? Like, this is an uncomfortable thing to watch. Like, I don't know what you think is funny about this, but it's creepy. And I think, like, she has to understand, like, there's a certain line between funny-ish / inappropriate and just straight up inappropriate. And this was to be, like, appealing to, like, I think it was, like, 13 and up. Like, I don't think that's appealing. But you don't understand why it got canceled. When you finally get called out for things that people have been trying to bring to the public's attention for years, because what she was doing, she was mailing people, like, her used underwear or something, and she mailed it off to a minor. And then when said minor's mother got upset that he wasn't more than, like, 15 or 16, that her son was sent worn lingerie in the mail by a 30-year-old woman, she just didn't understand, and she thought it was, like, a funny joke. But it's not funny. None of that was funny. And then you also were sharing Trisha Paytas's OnlyFans. She would have watch parties, and they would all talk about how...
at the time.
She started a podcast with Trisha that only lasted 2 episodes because this all came out during that time. And now they're not friends anymore. But she literally would have watch parties of Trisha Paytas, who is, she has so many names. She has, like, Trish Like Fish, and then, Blonde Sundoll for MJ on YouTube. But, Trish also does OnlyFans on the side, and Colleen would have watch parties when she would upload her videos, and they would watch it, like, on her TV and talk about how horrible her body looks. And someone, like, screenshot a group chat of when they were talking about it, and they sent it to her, and she admitted to it. And, like, that's crazy. And you really think you can come back from that?
Colleen's another video on her own, honestly.
She is. She really is. She's done a lot. And I think, like... I think it was funny because I didn't understand it when I was younger, but the whole Miranda Sings as a whole is just it's inappropriate. It's so inappropriate.
She went on many tours for that, but I digress.
She did.
As far as our next contester, it would be Ekane, and I feel like you gotta be a really specific group, so even though she has, like, 4 or 5 million subscribers or followers or whatever the case is. You gotta be a very specific group to even know who she is. What can I say about Erica? So Erica is what is she right now? 25-year-old woman. 24, 25?
Somewhere within that range. I know we're about the same age.
I think she's a little bit older than you, so she's 25 already. She's about to be 26. She has 2 children. As far as Ekane's content goes, it's like wig installations, her having controversies with her baby's father, who also was encouraged by her to make social media accounts and this and that. And I will say this, right, because people are like, I think they wait till she gets into controversy to be like, oh, why is she so popular? I thought we bullied dirty people and this, that, and the third. I'm not gonna say she is or isn't dirty, because she admits to things that probably most people would take to the grave. I'm not gonna lie to you, but however, I think what her appeal is for a lot of people is that she really doesn't care. Like, she'll tell you if she didn't take a shower today. Somebody else might not tell you that. That's real. People like honesty. whether or not that's dirty, whether or not that's how you feel, whether or not you would do that yourself. I think people just like her raw honesty, and she doesn't care. She'll argue with anybody, but she has had several controversies. Usually dealing with race, usually dealing with like darker skinned black women, and I feel like that's her main core audience is black women anyway. That's not to say anybody else doesn't watch her, but I'm trying to say like that's who her main. But I guess that's also a part of her being real because she shares that. Like that's not like, oh, I'm just pretending we're fine. I don't think she pretends. I think she just lets everybody know. Her controversy, though, she's one of those people that I believe that, like, because her fan base is so strong-rooted, and a lot of people believe she has a younger fan base, and that might be true, because the youngins, they might fight for you. I do agree with that. I do agree that because of her fan base, she has the stature that she has. She gets millions of dollars off of TikTok alone from wig installs. So it's just, hey, like, if I could make millions of dollars off of wigs just by being dirty, I don't know.
Yeah, Ekane is a hard one, because I really started off enjoying her. She's a wig influencer. She taught me how to install my wigs. Like, you gotta band it for an hour, you know? And they would come out flawless. And so it just started getting messier and messier and messier the more you get to know her. She would talk about, like, how she has certain diseases and what her underwear looks like when she takes them off. And then it started, like, getting to, oh, like, me and my baby daddy don't get along, but we don't get along, like, really bad. So then it's, like, her posting, well, she would be on live and they would start fighting. This man has ripped her door off. He has made it to where she can't even get into her driver's side. Yeah, she can't get into her driver's side door without opening the passenger side first. She had no mirrors on her car. She's gone through, like, 3 different cars because of him, to the point where people didn't want to... Yeah, like, where people didn't want to... Like, when she would go to the dealership, she would get mad because they didn't want to give her cars because she was such a liability. So she would have to pay, like, higher down payments, and she had it, but she just didn't want to. And it's, like... it's just sad. And then she'll say she's done with him, and then she'll go back to him. She pops up pregnant, then she gets an abortion. She's done with him. She goes back to him, pops up pregnant, gets an abortion, says she's done with him. Now she's back with him, and she's pregnant. So it's just like, well, allegedly she's pregnant.
Somebody asked, was she pregnant in the comments? And she was like, sometimes.
I saw that. That's like Erica, come on now. But I missed with her when it was just about the wigs. And then, aside from being... Yes, like, aside from being in a problematic relationship, she's had a couple of beefs in the last year, but the most prominent one that I can remember is someone commented something on one of her TikTok lives, and she told them that they would never be successful or as successful as she is because
I can tell you exactly what she said word for word. She was like, can we be real for a second? You're a dark-skinned woman, I'm light-skinned. You could never reach the heights that I've reached. And mind you, like we just said, this is a woman who like admits that she doesn't shower or really wipe her ass. Like, she said these things now, so it's just like, what heights is it? Like, getting beat every day by your baby daddy? And it's like, it's not even that to bash her, but it's like, because we've seen her life before, okay, maybe even deeper than that. To say that was crazy. You could say, I think it's fair to say that light-skinned people do get an advantage. I think that's fair to say, because they do. Unfortunately, that's just reality of a lot of things. However, the way she said it is just like, a lot of your fan base is dark-skinned women, so what are you talking about? She has admitted that when she's mad, she's the type of person to just say stuff to make people upset. And as somebody who, when they get upset, they just say things to make you upset, I get it. However, I think there's a limitation, especially if you're on live. This is not like you arguing in private text messages. This is out loud live.
Can I quote something that you said when you were upset?
Oh, what did I say?
One time, Alyssa got mad at this boy because he was trying to tell her basically how to live her life. And he had just recently shaved all of his hair off, like, for fun. And she told this boy, and I quote, I don't know if you shaved off a layer of your brain when you shaved your head, but don't talk to me like that. No thoughts.
And that's like just subtle. And I didn't even think about that. I want you to know I typed that in 5 seconds because who are you? But that's what I mean. Like, okay, I can understand you're saying things because you're upset or you're angry. But it depends on what you say, because I can see why people feel like you might feel that way regardless, because she does feel like And that's, I mean, let me, disclaimer, I feel like anybody should feel like you were untouchable in the sense, like, can't nobody fuck with me. And she really believes that nobody can fuck with her, yes. But yes, they can. But I will say for her, with all these controversies that we just named and went through, she's somebody who has not been successfully canceled. Like, if anything, she's gotten more power. Like, she's gotten more influence. Like, she's gotten more
Almost definitely. I will say, though, that she is able to apologize for certain things that she says. Like, she went back and she apologized for the colorist thing after she apologized on Twitter, not on TikTok. But she went back and apologized for what she said, and it sounded somewhat sincere, but with her, you never know. Sometimes she just says stuff just to say stuff.
You just gotta take it with a grain of salt. And I think you gotta take it for how
she'll probably do it again.
Like, you can't go with what the population feels. You gotta go with what you feel. If this is too much for you, then you gotta learn how to separate it. Because at the end of the day, she's still gonna make content. She's still gonna get paid. If you don't want to be contributor to that, don't acknowledge it. Don't watch it. Don't subscribe to it.
Literally, I feel like she's one of those people, you either hate her, you love her, or you're just there for the comedy. And at this point, I think I'm just there for the comedy.
On to our next person. Excuse me. My name is Cardi B, and I am from the Bronx.
I love that lady so much.
Oh my gosh, Bacallus.
Chun-Li, the Street Fighter.
I'll tell you what, there's footage you said, I'm standing right here. Miss Chun-Li, the Street Fighter. Oh, fuck out of here. I love New Yorkers. I love them. But we all know who Bacallus is. Like, you gotta be living on the rock to not know who Cardi B is to some extent. We all know who Bodak Yellow is. We know what, if you a real deal, like, you listen to female rap, then you was there for gangsta bitch music. But
yes, volume 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Not just 1 or 2. 1 and 2.
Invasion of Privacy might have been her first album, but those mixtapes hold a special place in my heart.
With Cardi, we all know the infamous Nicki drama. That's a never-ending thing. I don't think they should ever be friends. I don't think they should ever get along because it would be disingenuous. There's no way they could make up and it seems like, oh yeah, y'all are cool. It's not.
I want to say, though, I feel like a lot of that drama comes from the fans. Because the initial drama that was... 100%. Yeah, because, like, the initial drama that was came from Motorsport, and I feel like they were kind of able to squash that, but I feel like the fans just egg it on. If you don't know the Motorsport drama...
That day.
So, in Motorsport, there's a lyric that says, if Quavo the QB, I'm Nick Lombardi. The original verse was, if Cardi the QB, I'm Nick Lombardi. And Cardi didn't like that because she felt like it was a diss. And as someone who doesn't know anything about sports as well, I probably would have thought that it was a diss too, but it was actually a compliment, and she didn't realize it. And she asked her to change it.
But especially because of, like, how you said, like, how the fans they're already amplifying this fire. They're already like, oh, Nicki's better, Cardi's better. They're already amplifying this. So for her to say that to Cardi, it's like, okay, you listen to the barbs. Nicki does listen to the barbs.
But it was a compliment, and she just didn't realize it. So it's kind of just, like, one big misunderstanding. And then it was just, like, it started to get to a point where Nicki felt like Cardi was competing for her spot to be the queen. You really did have to be there, but she felt like Cardi was competing for her spot to be, like, the queen of rap because Cardi was hot, and, like, it's just something about the way Cardi spits. I don't care what you say. Yeah, she did get a Grammy, and Nicki is...
Writing for Cardi.
Yeah, she is known to have a ghostwriter. They're great, whoever they are.
Whoever wrote for Invasion of Privacy, because I could give you Cardi B gangsta bitch music. I could give you that. Whoever wrote Invasion of Privacy or most of Invasion of Privacy, that's why it's hard. That's why now, like, if she releases an album, it won't be the same. Invasion of Privacy, you could low-key have no skips from start to finish. Like, oh, yeah. I'm telling you.
That's a good cleaning album, to be honest, because you can get turned and clean and end up crying by the end. Like, it's really good. Mm-hmm. I feel like, though, like, if she would have just, when Up and Press came out and WAP, I feel like she should have just released the album then, because I feel like nobody wants a second album now, and I don't think it's coming, like, ever. Which is fine, because, like, you've already, like, syndicated yourself in the rap world. You don't really make a lot of good raps now. I don't know what that is about, but, like, you've already syndicated yourself.
Writers, I'm telling you, they're not pushing that pen.
They're not, because I didn't like that one where it's like, okay, like, But I just feel like she should have put the album out then. I feel like that would have been the perfect time. And it's been like, that album came out when I was in high school. And there's still no new album. I graduated in 2018, just for context. It's 2025.
And that's also one of our points, though, for Cardi, is that, like, with her controversy, she's cussed out her fans because they want an album from her, and then she'll be like, I'll push it back. I don't think she's ever really ready. Because I think if that was the case, she could have just been released it. She could have did her... I think Cardi is also somebody who doesn't... Beyonce is a great example of somebody who doesn't respond at all. Whether it's good, bad, anything, Beyonce doesn't respond. Cardi will respond if it's bad. Like, she lets those people get under her skin, and maybe that's just, like, as somebody who grew up, you never let no, but you don't let nothing slide. There's nothing wrong with that, but now you're at a different stage of her life, and you also have children, so you also have people to be responsible for. She don't care. That girl is hood at heart, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, when you're a celebrity, it's different. It's different, because you have people that look at you, and all eyes on you all times. She's in the court and everything. She's had charges pressed against her. She did community service.
She did, because she was drugging people. But I feel like, what was I gonna say? I feel like she has the mentality of, like, always needing to stand up for herself. And I think as a celebrity, sometimes you just have to let people think whatever they think about you and let it be. If you want to address it, you have to address it in a proper way. And I think she really is one of the people who needs, like, a PR person that is over her social media and, like, she doesn't have the password to, because I feel like
she does now. I think she does now.
I feel like she's ruined a lot of, like, because it could just be about the music, but I feel like she's ruined a lot of that by just being so problematic, because I feel like now, I'll say this, in 2018, when I think about Cardi, I think about her 2 mixtapes and her albums, how good they are, and how I know almost all the words to every single song. When I think about Cardi now, because of how problematic she's been over the years, not to say that it's not funny, not to say that there definitely were times when she wasn't wrong. That's just all I think about. Like, I'm not even... I used to, like, be like, oh my gosh, I'm anticipating the second album. I hope it comes out, and it's just not here, and it's just like Cardi drama, Cardi drama, Cardi drama, Cardi drama. That's all I think about.
It's never Cardi album unless there's Cardi album drama.
Literally. And I need Cardi put the album out. Not the fans are asking for the album, and now I'm mad because I don't actually have anything ready to put out, and now I'm not going to do it. Just say you don't got nothing. It's okay.
Absolutely. I mean, Cardi is somebody who can appeal to a bunch of people. One, she's bilingual. One, she looks multiracial. She can apply to different groups across the board. So aside from her being a lighter-skinned person, because of how she looks specifically, that's why she appeals to so many groups. And I mean, Cardi's also somebody, she probably could have been canceled for a lot of the things she said. Like, to sit there and be like, oh, we're all the R word. Most people wouldn't let that slide depending on who you are, but because
who's all of us? Who's all?
I will say, after all these people we've talked about, I said it like it's a lot, but these people we've talked about, you could never have a problematic person without having somebody who is of the caliber of an Azalea Banks. And I'm a firm believer in, like, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day, because she might use slurs. She might not be nice. She might have so much controversy and distraction from her actual musical talent. Azalea Banks, hands down. And we were talking about this prior, because when we were trying to talk about this podcast, you thought I was adding extra people in this podcast. In reality, Azalea Banks has beefs with these people, not limited to, but including Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Beyonce, Sky Jackson, Zayn Malik, the LGBT community as a whole, Sarah Palin, Iggy Azalea. If you don't remember, she's the one who started Igloo Australia in the first place. Erykah Badu, Sia and the Church of Satanism, Nick Cannon and the Wild and Outcast, Megan Thee Stallion. This isn't even all the people she's argued with, and some of these are one-sided beef. Some of these people have not even addressed her back, but for the most part, they either said something to her or they went back and forth. I will say, I think Megan Thee Stallion didn't say nothing to her, and I don't think Doja said anything to her. But she's you could look right now. You could get your phone, pick up Google.com and type up Azalea Banks rants. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of them. It's a bunch that's gonna pop out, and like she do be eating people up. I would hate to get an argument with her, but when she's behind the keyboard in person, you might be able to eat her up. Behind the keyboard, that girl got Webster's open. Like, she knows how to open a dictionary. She's not stupid.
Oh yeah, that girl. I'm looking at our script right now. We make an outline every single week of what we want to talk about. and I had to go back in and move stuff around because the Azalea Banks part of this outline in the script is so long, and we had agreed to narrow this down to 4 people that we wanted to talk about because, as we said before, we had a lot of people that we wanted to talk about. And the Azalea Banks part of this is just so long that I thought, like, Liz added extra people. And I was like, can you narrow it down to, like, what you want to talk about? And she's like, no, like, this is all about Azalea. Like, it's crazy. She's one of those people that's not afraid to speak her mind. We would be here all day if we just talked about Azalea.
Azalea is somebody, like, I think she might do crazy things. She might sandblast chicken guts from sacrificing chicken in her closets for 3 years. She might do that. She might practice witchcraft. She might boil her dead cat and hold ceremonies for her dead cat. She might do that. She might send Remy Ma a picture of her cooter cat and tell her that she wants labiaplasty. She might do that. She might do some unhinged things, but when she's right, she's right. Like, you cannot tell me when she's right, she's wrong. Even now, like, I'm sure if you go on her Twitter, it's just a bunch of paragraphs of her eating people up. And sometimes she might be right, sometimes she might be wrong. This is the same woman who was a grown woman in her 20s at the time arguing with a teenage Sky Jackson. You know, she called Zayn a sand hard. He is the black one of the group, I'm not gonna lie. But
he's not black. He just got a little bit of color to him.
I'm talking about of the group. Of One Direction, he the black one.
That's true. That's fair. What is her Twitter now? Do you know what her Twitter is?
She said, I forgot. I don't know what it is. She got into it with Sarah Palin because she told Sarah Palin that she hoped that she said a train, but what she implied was that she wanted her to be gang assaulted. Because it was a satire article that came out. It was a literal satire article that came out that was basically saying that Sarah Palin said that slaves enjoy slavery, like they didn't mind it, and she didn't take kindly to that. But she didn't also fact check to make sure that this was a satire article. And then Sarah Palin threatened to sue her now. Yeah, I don't remember exactly where it's from. I just know it was satire at that point. I don't know if Sarah Palin ever went through with her lawsuit, but she definitely made a rant about it. Is she wrong for having a lawsuit? No, you just told me to go get assaulted. But Azalea Banks also is grown enough to know how to go and fact check, especially with a politician. This is not even like, she's had issues with like Elon Musk and Grimes at the time and was saying they like were pimping her out. I will say I don't disagree with that. I'm not surprised by anything that anybody says about Elon Musk. He's built like a refrigerator. I
think she's banned on Twitter.
She's not banned.
I can't find her
Twitter. She was talking about Kanye's tweets not too long ago. We've been friends for a long time. Every year of our friendship, she's had a new controversy.
Oh, yeah. If we could go back and, like, date our friendship every single year, we can name something that Azalea did that year. I think my favorite beef was with her and Lana Del Rey, when they were, like, she was talking about, she went on a rant about her. Yeah, she went on a rant about, like, was it Ariana, her, and a couple other people, and Lana made like this, let me see if I can find the letter that Lana wrote.
Her thing is Azalea's lace wig.
That's her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was looking at that, but I didn't think it was her. See? Oh, she's on tour. She's in Prague.
Even in her bio, it says rantings of a lunatic. Like, she knows she's not all the way there.
She knows. She definitely knows. She's crazy.
I will say about Azalea Banks, it doesn't matter if she's provoked, unprovoked. She's somebody who's very opinionated. And I think she's made comments before that they used to get her super drunk and they used to basically make her get on these rants. They would get her super drunk, super amped up and stuff like that. And I do believe that because I think the industry is a dangerous place. Ain't no fancy game. She also has to be accountable for some of the things she says. You know, this is somebody who bit a woman at a club one time. This is somebody who definitely she's like the boy who cried wolf sometimes. So even if something's wrong, people typically don't give her the time of day.
Okay, perfect example. This is from her Twitter. RZA is a rabid dust head. Paul Banks and I from Interpol sat at because what? Paul Banks and I from Interpol sat at Electric Lady in sheer panic for 2 hours while RZA was sweating and shouting gibberish on the mic. Both looking at one another like, should we call the ambulance? RZA is really not that N-word y'all think he is. RZA been smoking angel dust and sucking old white man parts in Hollywood for opportunities to rebrand himself as some uppity vegan Negro filmmaker. After that $6 million flop and that PR disaster of that attempt to trade me for sex to Russell Crowe for more Hollywood favors, nobody in their right mind is messing with RZA. He's a slob. And everybody in hip-hop knows the type of desperate homo RZA is. The only people still thinking RZA is a legend are dumb white hype beasts who buy Wu-Tang Clan merch on Etsy. He's a crazy dust head. Like a jump off the roof. I believe I can fly. Dust head. Straight from her Twitter.
Like, and I mean, it's probably not as bad now as it used to be, but, like, if you really go back and read some of her reads to people, like, there are points where you could, like, she didn't lie. She might sound crazy as cat shit, but she don't be lying. Like, she really, you could tell this is from her chest. And I say, like, when I say that, like, in person it might be different because we all seen how she acted on Wild 'N Out, and if you're unfamiliar, she basically went on Wild 'N Out, and she felt like because DC Young Fly called her ugly, it had to be because she was dark skinned, and so she kept messing with him, and he started talking about her braces. She ain't like that. So then it was about colorism and all of this stuff, when in reality she's the perfect person for Wild 'N Out. She's the perfect person to crack a joke. I think she's way better behind a computer screen.
Oh yeah, I felt like she really got in her feelings that day, but it's just like, you talk about everybody behind a screen. All they said is the reason she's here is because they couldn't find Cardi B. It wasn't that serious. Like, it's never that serious.
She called Cardi B. She ate Cardi B up so bad. She called that girl an illiterate rat. She ate herself so bad. Cardi B deactivated her Instagram. And mind you, Cardi B is Miss Respond. So
she is Miss Respond because, let's be honest, Nicki Minaj made Queen Radio. It was a promo for her album, but she never did any promo for that album on that radio show that she had on Apple Music. She used it to address beefs. That is where she called Miley Cyrus a purdy chicken. And then she would go and talk about Cardi every time something happened.
My point though to what you just said though, because she did make Queen Radio just to talk shit. However, there was a point where, like, when Doja was going through her controversy with the tiny chat rooms and things, where Azalea had made a video and was like, you better get up there and you better eat her down then. If you don't do this, that means you just made this strictly for Cardi. Mind you, Nicki never made a video about Doja because she just had a feature with Doja at the time. But it's like, you could tell that even when the most insane person is talking, she's making a point, though.
Mm-hmm. She's so right, because literally her and Cardi were beefing while she was literally recording Queen Radio, and it was live. You could go and play it back, but it was live. And as she's talking, Cardi is listening because she knew it was about her. And Cardi is going on live talking, and she's watching Cardi's videos and responding on live. Like, be for real. You're obsessed. It's okay.
I think with all of these problematic individuals, it kind of brings us to the idea of cancel culture. And not every problematic person gets canceled, because none of these people, honestly, maybe Azalea Banks, but none of these people other than her have been successfully canceled.
I don't think so. The only successful person, or the only person I can think of that has been successfully canceled out of all of the people that we mentioned today, is literally Colleen Ballinger. And that was like, she really didn't ever recover for that. I didn't realize I was still subscribed to her on YouTube the other day, so I went and I unsubscribed. Her views are low, like really low.
You can tell when, like, cancel culture works, and cancel culture only works if you don't care. Like, if you sit there and you keep talking about they're not canceled because you keep giving it attention. But, like, so for example, like, if we're talking about influencers like Benita, because like when she was going on those rants after she had all these different surgeries, she, like, if you go on her page right now, she might have like a couple million following. But if you go on those likes to views ratios, you can see that, like, they don't rock with her the way they did. Or, like, if you go look at Daniel Caesar, because he had this controversy where he was trying to say that, yes, Jules should be able to say the N-word. And he's like, he don't care if he get canceled. They canceled him swiftly. And Daniel Caesar's a good artist. Ellen DeGeneres got canceled so bad they had to cancel her show. Jussie Smollett, we know he's a known liar. He literally is the reason Empire got canceled, because he lied so bad. And he made it, like, not only just a black issue and an LGBT issue, and it's like, you got double canceled. Shane Dawson, like, if we were talking about influencer-wise, YouTuber-wise, he's somebody who still has a platform, still has, like, a good million-something subscribers to this day. So he's canceled maybe it's, like, the main people, but, like, he still has a core, like, your core base is what's going to get you, because if it was easy to cancel people, many people would be canceled for different reasons. You could say R. Kelly's canceled, but he still has a core fan base.
Almost definitely, because for those of you who don't know, we live in North Carolina, and he's in the prison in North Carolina, and people go out there and, like, they sit out there with signs like "free him," and they put money on his books.
Yeah, he may step in the name of love. They don't care about nothing else, to be honest with you.
I Believe I Can Fly, Step in the Name of Love, Ignition remix. The crowd goes wild.
Is there an original Ignition? Like,
there is. I just found it a couple years ago, but it's like slow. I see why the remix is more popular.
Okay.
So our question of the day: are problematic people always the problem? I personally don't think that problematic people are always the problem. I feel like sometimes it's just a case of the right message, wrong messenger. You're saying all of the right things, but the way it's coming out, the words that you were using may not be the right words to gain the context that we need. I feel like, especially when it comes to people like Azalea Banks, because she's done so much, people don't want to hear what she has to say, and sometimes she is correct. Again, with Cardi, she talks a big talk, but sometimes she's right. Not always, but sometimes she is right in the things that she says. I have friends who, they're the most problematic people I know, and sometimes they just be talking, and I'd be like, wow, like, what? I'm not talking about you.
Have that are problematic, because I feel like you need to include yourself into that list.
I am problematic, but I'm also right.
Oh.
You're problematic, and you're also right. I wasn't talking about you. That's what you thought.
Oh, I wasn't. I'm just saying, like, well, I'm trying to think about our friends that are problematic, but that's irrelevant. I think we're the problematic friends, honestly.
We are the problematic friends. Like, yeah, we're all problematic, and we know that we are. We're working on it.
No, they're not always a problem. They're not. You could be like, you could be the most annoying person on the planet, but if you make a point, you make a point. Like, that point still stands. Like, sometimes, yes, the messenger is important, but in a lot of cases, no. If the message is strong enough, it doesn't matter who it comes from. Problematic people, and then they're like, why are they problematic? Are you making them problematic? Did they make themselves problematic? Did they go through something that made them problematic? I don't know. Being problematic is a lifestyle, as we've discussed, and you either wear it well or you don't.
I just feel like if you're going to be problematic, you have to do it well. You have to stick to what you know, because people aren't going to want to hear it one day when you're trying to be philosophical and politically correct. It might be correct what you're saying, but they're not going to hear you because of the way that you act. Let someone else who doesn't do the same things that you do say the same thing, and they're going to get a different reaction than you do. But because you're constantly dramatic, you're constantly problematic, you're always the center of drama, it's not always going to be taken the right way when things come from you. And I think that's something that people, especially people like Azalea Banks, have to understand. Like, you may definitely be correct sometimes, but people aren't going to want to hear it because it's you.
Because you're Azalea Banks. And you argue with everybody on the internet. So it's like, it's just something to think about. I'm all for problematic people, honestly. I don't know. I feel like it builds character.
Being problematic builds character. Trauma builds character. There's a lot of things that build character. But being problematic, or at least having like a problematic past and getting canceled, I feel like that builds character for everybody. Because they're so scared to get canceled again. They don't want to ever do anything wrong. I've seen it. I feel like
you James Charles... canceled, like you beat your cancellation? James Charles, I don't know if he was really extra. That's another story for another day, because he
was canceled for like 2 seconds, or like, I won't say 2 seconds. He was canceled. No, that was Tati.
What was his?
I don't know. I watched it, but I don't know. But even that didn't uncancel him, because he had to make 2 videos for that, and the second video really didn't do much, but show that like the person that was accusing him
trying to say he was sex trafficking kids, though. Like,
yeah, I do remember that. But James made 2 videos, and he made one to apologize, and then one to basically try to like prove himself, and they didn't really work. And then he was still talking to minors, which was the main problem that was trying to be addressed, and it just didn't go over well, because it's just like you're apologizing and you're trying to prove yourself wrong, yet you're still doing the same thing that you're being accused of. But I feel like just like time went by, because when I go on TikTok and like when he comes up on my For You page, like everybody loves him now. So I think he was uncanceled. He still
has millions of followers. Yes, absolutely.
And he has a successful like makeup line now, since like Morphe doesn't exist anymore. So he's good.
They don't exist. Oh my god. A time.
We went from Morphe brushes to Morphe to nothing. But they weren't paying their, like the influencers that they had. Like Jaclyn Hill, she had 3 collections, really 4 collections that she made with Morphe, and they weren't paying her. James said they still owe him like close to $1 million. I know Jeffree Star says Morphe still owes him, so That's probably why they're not in business now. Like, we're not doing the right thing.
Morphe, a controversial brand. Problematic brand, if you will.
Honestly, when I think about it, Morphe is really the catalyst for the James Charles, Tati Westbrook, Shane Dawson drama. They all work with Morphe. And I feel like that's probably what brought them together.
But I digress. Brought together by a problematic brand.
That is a problematic brand. They were always doing something, and they were stealing from other companies. They just were the one that got big.
I feel like this is one of those things that like we really could talk about all day, and I'm really trying my hardest to not keep talking because like being problematic is really something that's interesting because like you want to see where these people are coming from and what they have to say, even if it's something you don't agree with, because it's just like, well, why would you say that? It's like being problematic is something that like can really enthrall. I don't know the word I want to use, but being problematic is something that could really interest me because I just want to know what's wrong with your brain. Like,
I was gonna say that
all day long for several days, several nights.
Oh yeah, like problematic people. I just want to sit down with one person and like preface with like, I'm not trying to like come at you a certain way, but I just want to know like what goes on in your head.
Like, why do you think the way you do?
Yeah, like what's going on up there?
But with that being said, another wonderful episode of the Barely Making It podcast.
Thank you guys for watching or listening, whichever you are doing. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials. They'll be linked down below. And we hope to see you next week.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.